Very good. So we're starting now. We are live, we're happening, and we are walking into such a wild and wonderful time. It feels very chaotic in some ways, and I know that's always about growth and cracking through stuff and allowing the new to come. And for me, it feels a little uncomfortable right now, I'll admit. So I'm extremely grateful to be hosting tonight and also to be part of this hour because I'm going to allow the healing to happen. That is what I am going to do. Yes, yes. So are we ready to go? Are
Yeah.
we ready?
Yeah. Yes,
Good.
we are. Thank you. Thank you.
I feel it. I feel it. Without further ado.
Thank you. So yeah, we are, these are all portals of the age of brilliance. And as we journey deeper into the portal of harmony, um, so let's just pause and acknowledge some notes from we have already awakened within us. So each hallmark that I went through last time that we have encountered so far has been tuning us very subtly and yet very powerfully into the frequency of resonance and its resonance with our truth. Together, we are not talking about any ideas anymore. These are living instruments within our field. So we began yet last week with the attuned presence as the first hallmark. You remember how to meet the moment fully, no longer skipping the past, life's whispers, you learn to hear, feel, and be in real time. And presence is what became your power with this particular hallmark. With the second hallmark, which is all about energetic integrity, you discovered the clarity when thought, words, and action and feeling are completely aligned. Integrity becomes less about morals, and it actually is about magnetism, magnetizing the resources, the connections, the opportunities that are in perfect attunement to you living your calling. We looked at cosmic listening, conscious listening. And here, what occurred was that you opened your ears beyond sound. And you literally started looking at what is being communicated in this situation. It's as if you were tuning into your soul. And with that context, engaging with what was being communicated. And as a result, listening becomes your tool for dissolving conflict, igniting connections, and awakening your truth. What we also talked about was emotional resonance. This was the fourth hallmark. You stopped avoiding your emotions and you started honoring them. And your emotions became your compass, not your cage. And from this came flow, depth, and inner strength. This was a huge one for me, in all of my corporate life. This emotions were not something that I allowed myself to engage in. And it was only after my whole spiritual awakening journey began that I became comfortable with my emotions and reconnected to my emotions. And I totally understand that once you reconnect with your emotions and you allow them to express themselves in the form of your feelings, you enter a very unique realm of your flow. And as you step into your flow, you enter the depth the wisdom that you have held in your gut. And that becomes a source of your inner strength. You start trusting your own decisions. The fifth hallmark of harmony that we worked with was vibrational discernment. You no longer say yes out of guilt or fear. You now choose based on frequency, vibrational frequency. You feel what uplifts and what drains, and then you respond accordingly. That's what we were talking about here. The sixth hallmark of harmony was relational harmony. You begin to relate not from expectations, but from appreciation. Because remember, expectations are just something that we made up. There's no reality to them. And if you remain in the realm of expectations, you very quickly slide into entitlement. And entitlement doesn't actually serve anything. That's your entitlement. The other person or other organizations are not bound by it. And that is what creates that experience of feeling unfulfilled. And of course, that multiplies and shows up in a whole variety of ways. Instead, when you dive into appreciation, you're anchored in what has already occurred. And you are appreciating it. So you're going to a higher level of frequency through your appreciations. Others in your life become co-composers in your symphony, not competitors in your survival. And the seventh hallmark of harmony that we worked with was spacious timing. You released the illusion of urgency. That is what spacious timing was about. And you reclaimed the rhythm of divine flow. You understood that miracles are not here to be forced. Instead, they occur all the time, and you align with them, and you see them multiply and amplify and magnify. So this is what we've gone through. These are the hallmarks we've gone through so far. And now, with these 7 notes in our symphony humming within your field, we are now ready to enter the next frequency. And the next frequency is all about, the next hallmark is all about creative coherence, where your inner knowing becomes your outer creation, where what you bring into the world finally matches what your soul is here to express. So let's now unlock hallmark number 8. I really see it as stepping into the artistry of aligned creation. So, hallmark number 8. Hallmark number 8 is creative coherence. Like I said, this is where your creative output matches your inner knowing. Very different. In the past, output matches input. And in both of those have been very, very conscious and physical in the past. Here, I'm saying that your creative output matches your inner knowing. As I sat with it last night, preparing for our session today, I was sitting in my living room and I'm surrounded by some of my very early paintings. And there were 3 paintings that I had done that were lovely when I did them because I'd just never done anything like that before. But they were all primary colors, There was no experimentation with colors or even experimentation with crystals as such. And those paintings were okay. What I didn't realize was these three paintings were in fact one painting. And now when I look at this, that creative output matched my inner knowing because I really did not know what I was painting. And yet, when you look at them, I'll send a photograph. When you look at them, there is a very fine structure within each band of the painting. So I realized that, where is that? Where did that come from? I literally was trusting, and I had the canvas in front of me on my desk, and I was just putting blobs of paint on it, and then going to whichever crystal I was drawn to act as the brush, and allowing my fingers to move the crystal wherever it chose to move it. That was absolutely creative coherence in action. And for the first time in all those years, they are actually placed where they were meant to be placed. And you can feel the vibe and energy that is very different than they have ever emanated up to now. So you can just imagine, and this is what automatic writing is as well, by the way, because automatic writing is coming from an inner knowing, and you immediately start outputting by writing. A lot of the times, my transmissions are exactly this: creative coherence. Creative coherence calls for us to be anchored in a realm of trust, by the way. And trust is the innate frequency of the age of brilliance. Just like gratitude is the key to peace, trust is really the key to inner calm. Now, let's get back, coming back to creative coherence. How can you activate this? So just take a moment or two, tune in before you create, and ask the question, what wants to be born through me at this time? What wishes to be birthed through me at this time? And allow whatever flows to flow. And if nothing flows, maybe it was just time for you to be with yourself. And at some point, the dots will connect and the flow will begin. What makes it possible in case you begin it and nothing happens? You can take the help of art. Even looking at images of art that really moves you, reading, listening to messages or chants that land within your being, starts to bring about this very unique attunement. And really, when I look at those times where I was receiving the gift of painting, my logical mind was stressed out because a lot of money had been invested in these canvas and all of these paints. And a lot of money had been invested in my crystals that were now going to be subject to this chemical of paints. So my logical mind was going crazy. That what am I even doing? What am I even thinking? So I had to keep revisiting what, wishes to be birthed through me right now. I read and listened to some of my own recordings. Remember when I actually got the gift of painting, I was in the middle of a 5 days of silence, and I was on the ocean. And the first day of silence is where I created the first painting, which was a call of dolphins. And the next day in the morning, we had a whole collection of dolphins right there in front of our villa, playing in front of us. It was super exciting. So I have that vision, that vista imprinted on me as I work with this in other areas of my life. I mean, even like the book Flow has come out now. When I decided that, okay, the next trilogy of books is going to be about business, I was excited because I've already written one book fully about business, and it's called Unstuck, The 7 Pillars of Extraordinary Results. And when I asked the question, what chooses to be birthed through me right now? It was not unstuck. It was flow, which is all about my 30 years of leadership work. On the one hand, there is the 30 years of leadership work that I've done. So it's like back of the hand uh, phrase you could use for it, or it's second nature to me. And yet, when you are working with such a deep and expansive body of work, to convert it into a book takes a lot of work. It is completely in this realm of creative coherence and anchored in a state of trust that I was able to bring together all of that work and structure it such that it actually made coherent sense. And it was a communication of spirit through me that made it possible. And what opens up when you work in this way, creative coherence, your original genius wakes up. Your original genius wakes up. And the impact is that the work that comes out from you, your work becomes a portal. Flow, the book, is a portal to flourishing brilliantly. And it anchors a new paradigm in leadership. You know, the flourishing code is a portal into living the life you love. Behave is also a portal into having what you'd want. So, why is it important to work in this way with creative coherence? Because when there is a mismatch between what you are creating and your inner truth, your field becomes weakened. When your field is weakened, it becomes open to various attacks, energetic attacks of various saboteur forces, entities, and a variety of things. And that opens you up and makes you vulnerable to vibrational highs and lows. Anger issues show up. Manic depression type experiences show up. Bipolar situations show up. Creative coherence is an amazing, powerful solution to all of this. You know, why are horses so powerful in transforming a highly agitated autistic being? They bring about creative coherence. Your outer expression matches your inner knowing. And how can you develop this within yourself? The way to develop this is, create a practice every morning It could be a morning muse, 5 minutes. 5 minutes of intuitive expression. I did this diligently every single day for the first, I say 12 months, but actually I probably did it for 36 months, 3 years. 5 minutes, I would just sit there. And I'm telling you, for the first several weeks, nothing came other than one or two words. But I would time 5 minutes. And all I was doing was, what is choosing to be expressed through me today? And I would just simply be there. Initially, I would come out of my bedroom and then just sit on the day bed, which overlooked rice fields in Bali. And we would often have a sunrise from just behind the volcano that we could see from that daybed. And I wouldn't necessarily engage with anything. I would just very softly gaze out, allowing nature to look into me until one or two words started flowing. I didn't bother reading the words again, I just wrote them. And when I had a collection of words, I actually strung them together and realized there was a message. And then I got excited. Wow, I received a message. And I continued the practice until poetry is what started to arrive. And I started writing poetry. And then, of course, the rest is history, as they say. I could be in this state for several days at a time, allowing these amazing downloads to come through. There is a cost of ignoring this. We are in the age of brilliance. And here you are, right in the middle of the portal, which marks the hallmarks of harmony. And harmony is one of the three in the flourishing triad. So it plays a very important role in this age of brilliance. So there is a cost of ignoring this at this time. You become stagnant. You develop that creativity block, which is akin to a writer's block. And not feeling creative immediately, reawakens that feeling of stuckness. I'm stuck or I am trapped. Trust disappears. You are now not coherent with the age of brilliance at all. Begins with irritation, frustration, anger, and so on, leading to quite volatile expression of depression. The cost is pretty serious here. So just 5 minutes of intuitive expression as a practice every morning really unlocks a magical world that you create from your inner knowing. And what occurs, and it's playing out right in front of you through everything that I'm doing. The biggest gift that arises out of this hallmark is legacy. Legacy built from your true essence. And your true essence is the essence of your soul presence. It is playing out right here in front of me, with me. I can see it. I didn't even step forward to create a legacy, and legacy is what is being built out. I mean, this is a very deep one, Sunny. If there's anything that's showing up for you to share at this point.
That I just need. When you're saying about the 5 minutes each day, what I love about that for me is, and I'm sure, well, I'll just speak for me, that I sometimes feel overwhelmed with, you know, how many ways of accessing my creativity. I'm extremely creative and I'm doing stuff, as you know, all the time in different
Yeah.
areas. This focus, though, when you described this just now, I could, oh, it makes me a little teary actually, because I can feel that I can give myself the permission, the space to just, come on, Sonny, 5 minutes, and 5 minutes for real, like be all in and really, really laser with nothing else, you know, entering, and allow what will come in, because I'm afraid of brilliance, you know, so I block it. And so when you're saying this, I'm thinking this feels safe for me. This feels like something I'll actually do. And I appreciate so much you talking about the cost of ignoring it, because that's what I think I'm going through right now, is, you know, feeling sad and angry and like what the bleep, you know, futile. And so thank you for this, because I just really love it.
Thank you for sharing. I felt your message is important for a lot of us because I think there's a degree of helplessness with some of the stuff that is playing out. And it is important to feel even that emotion, you know, and come home to this, you know, coherent form of creation coming from
And
our.
I want you to continue, as I know we all do. With that, though, the feeling of the futility, or feeling what's mine to do. We've talked about that many times in different Thursday nights, or, you know, and when you're talking about the inner, creative coherence and the solutions being in that, you know, the output matching the inner knowing. Again, the unlocking of the magical, the legacy that we're here to do, like we're here to do stuff. And I feel like also with me, like getting to a certain age, I'm like, wow, you know, I don't really feel like I've done my thing yet. Like I've done a bunch of stuff, but, you know, I know that my real deal it's like I've been in dress rehearsal for a few decades and it's
Yeah.
like, what am I doing? And it's like I could choose to just, you know, do it next time, just leave and come back, or am I going to go ahead and really bring it this, you know, this like third act of my life? And so the opportunity of the age of brilliance, I also see that word is something that we use a lot in the, you know, new thought community. The eight, you know, we're brilliant, you're brilliant, all that. And what came to me today with that was just simply light. You know, a little light, like not, oh, you know, big bells, oh, we're all great, oh, let's be, you know, big, huge brilliance. For me, it felt like a little light, a little flame that's also powerful as hell, you know, as
Yeah,
everything.
absolutely. And
And,
that is what this age of brilliance is about, really coming home to our inner brilliance,
mm,
you know? So thank you. Thank you, Sunny, for just bringing out that beautiful nuance.
thank you, thank you.
Oh, wow. Let's look at the ninth hallmark. The ninth hallmark is silent power. What is this silent power? It is the strength that speaks without words. I know there are many of you here who have done Vipassana, the silent retreats. And I remember the first time I did it, you know, it was really an accidental thing because my son had booked himself in, not for the 10-day one, but for a 4-day one. Friday all the way through to Monday. And then Tuesday we were supposed to leave. And this was in Australia. So and I had agreed to drive him up there to the monastery. We were in Australia. So we were driving up, and both of us, you know, when we sometimes just get going together, we become very carried away by the adventure of it. And the thing about Australia is you have these 5 pockets of main towns, and the rest is all the Australian desert. And literally within a short time, a drive out from the city, less than half an hour, you're into the Australian desert, outback, they call it. So there we are driving on a road in the Australian outback, and there's nothing on either side of us. And we just decide that we are so early, we're supposed to check in by 6 p.m. or something, or that was the latest time, right? We're supposed to check in no later than 6 p.m., and we still had a lot of time. So we just decided to drive down a bit more because all we had to do was to turn around and take the road back. So we are like driving, driving, driving. And there's something quite, it's like the sound of silence, starts to enter your ears. And we are both in a quite a trance-like meditative state. We lose track of time. So we've driven quite a way into the outback. And we realize that actually the sun is about to set. So it's time to turn around. So we turn around, and as we're driving back, we see what we have read about, what we'd read about as children, that when the sun sets, all the animals go home to their homes to rest. And we suddenly see this whole, I don't know what you say, flock of kangaroos, hopping along in front of us. Now, we had a 4x4 car, so we decided, let's follow these kangaroos. So we go off the road and we are following these kangaroos. I mean, it's really a little bit of a nightmare sort of stuff, but it didn't feel like a nightmare. It felt super exciting. None of us, we are not speaking to each other. It's as if we are in this wonderful symphony. And off we go following the kangaroos. And then the kangaroos, head off. They're much faster than even we are because the car at this point is going, it's not necessarily at any particular speed. So fine, we turn around. And as we're driving up towards the road, we then see a flock of emus. Now they are going home. And I've never seen an emu in my life. And there they were. So we're like following those. Um, so it was pretty exciting. Finally, we did manage to make it. We were at about 8 o'clock as opposed to 6 p.m. And this is the monastery in the outback. So it was completely dark. We arrived there. The car now has very little petrol, and it's too dark to leave it anywhere. So fortunately, I think Spirit had other plans. That's why they got us on this wonderful adventure. Fortunately, they found me a room to stay and do the silence along with my son. Now, he was in the gents area and I was in the ladies area. Um, that was my first experience of silence. And if you've done it before, I have vivid memory of, I have never been in such a noisy space ever in my life like I was on that first day of silence. And the noise was all from within me. Now, the first day was all noise, noise, noise. I couldn't believe, the stuff that was just coming up over and over and over. Some things were very powerful. And I so wanted to write them in my journal, but we weren't allowed to take anything there. We were just in the in that whole meditation hall, just by ourselves. So it was very disconcerting to hear all that noise from within me coming out. Of course, no words were being said. By the time I got to the third day, I realized the strength that I had amassed with all of that release. And it was through the expression of that noise and that released the clutter and the clogginess that was there in my field. I landed into this strength, the strength of silent power, the strength that speaks without words. Silence is not always feasible, you know, unless you're only by yourself. So when I looked at, well, how do I, in any environment, wherever I am, how do I activate this? Because if I can activate it and I learn to do it, I can teach it. So the way to activate this is to ground yourself into stillness. Don't worry necessarily about even sitting in one place. A simple reconnection to the earth, if you can manage it, or to the ocean. And when you ground yourself in inner stillness, that inner stillness could come from you being very actively engaged in something. So right now I'm engaged in strength training, really building up my muscles. So I am actively engaged and I am in a state of complete stillness. I am grounded in stillness. And when you are grounded in stillness, you feel your presence. And what happens is when you ground into stillness and you allow your presence to speak, to communicate, you experience the power in your inner knowing, the power of all of the wisdom that exists within you. And this is the secret to that magnanimous presence that some people have. You may be in a very crowded place and suddenly something feels electrifying, and it may simply be just one person that has entered that space. And I remembered it is this that I connected to when I first met Dadi Janki of the Brahma Kumaris in England. That was not the first time. That was a time where I was there with a huge crowd of about 10,000 people. I had met her in small gatherings of 20, 25 people before that. And there were 10,000 of us, and this little woman comes on the stage, grounded in stillness, allowing her presence to speak with no words being said. And that noisy, noisy Royal Festival Hall completely dropped into pin drop silence. We each of us have that presence because we are the same soul. And when you're able to activate this, what does it make possible? Influence without effort. The scale of following and the growth that she accomplished for the Brahma Kumaris was phenomenal. They went from where an obscure little group to more than 90,000 working actively for the Brahma Kumaris movement. Influence without effort. What opens up? People feel held and guided. And the impact that has is that you lead by being, behave, not doing. Doing simply flows. And the reason why this is important is because noise is often mistaken for power. And it is not. We'll talk about that another time in terms of noise, but it is important to really get that reconnection to your own strength through this. What practice can you put in place to get access to this anytime, all the time, every time? And it's very simple. See, when I'm doing these, when I'm going through the hallmarks of harmony, because I talk about it so much, I wanted to have practices that anybody can do, anywhere in the world. And they're easy and done very quickly. So for this one, the practice simply is 10 silent breaths before key moments. Just 10 silent breaths before key moments. Key moments could be a key meeting, could be a podcast you're about to get on. It could be somewhere that you're about to speak, or someone that you're about to meet. Doesn't actually take that long to do 10 silent breaths. The cost of ignoring this is really important to get. It is overcompensation for all the misinterpretation that you're going to experience that arises from a huge amount of noise that is emanating out of you when you're not in that connection to your silent power. Your energy speaks volumes, even if you don't say a word. So the misinterpretation and the starts to occur even before you say anything, and then you get compelled to, clarify or justify or correct, and then you start overcompensating. What a waste of time and energy. Instead, when you connect to that silent power within you, that is you, your biggest gift is pure, unshakable, authoritative presence. You don't have to justify anything. You are received and seen for who you are, pure, unshakable authority. Anything you wish to say, Sunny?
You're feeling me. I'm so excited about this. Silent power, strength that speaks without words. And I even wrote down the sound of silence, which of course we all know because we're of that age. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again, or with you again. Grounding in silence and actually feeling when you said the word authoritative, I thought, wow, there's so many leaders in our group. There's so many leaders in whatever way, masters, leaders, and to be able to tap into not the arrogance, not the know-it-allness, and into the overcompensating, and feel into the silent power. And I wrote this down: pure, unshakable, authoritative presence. That's going to be my mantra for the next bit, because I just feel so strongly about that. So thank you for that.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
I'm writing furiously here. I have a lot of writing.
I think these amazing portals are pretty awesome. So rich in what's coming through.
Mm.
So the 10th hallmark of harmony is embodied grace. Can everybody hear me? What is embodied grace? There's something wrong with my... Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. I can hear you, Minu.
Okay. So the 10th hallmark of...
You're not highlighted, Minu. So you're just a small picture. So yeah.
Now we're good.
There we
Okay.
go.
So the 10th hallmark of harmony is embodied grace. What is it? What is it? What does it even look like? Embodied grace is moving through life with elegance and ease. That is how it shows up. You move through life with elegance and ease. Grace, by the way, is one of the portals as well. We'll come to that at some point. But the experience of embodied grace, with grace expressing through your physical body, is that movement through life with elegance and ease. How do you activate it? Do you allow yourself to soften, breathe, invite beauty into your movements? This is interesting, huh? Inviting beauty into your movements. We take it so much for granted, movement. And when you actually consciously pause and invite beauty into your movements, you auto-correct your posture, by the way. It happens automatically. Nobody needs to even guide you or train you to do it. You invite beauty into your movements, you immediately, your body just like remembers how you're meant to show up, how you're meant to sit, how you're meant to stand, how you're meant to go from sitting to standing or standing to sitting. It's amazing, amazing. So I'm in the gym and I do my reps and my core is still weak, So I'm lying on the bench and I'm pushing these weights up, getting up from that flat, tiny little bench is the most inelegant experience for me at the moment. You know? So, and I see my son doing it, and he's like, it gets up. Now, it takes me a minute or so to get myself up because I can't just get up. My core is not strong enough. So then I decided the last time I was there, I said, okay, I'm going to invite beauty into my movement of getting up. And it was amazing and absolutely surprising. I just got up. I just got up. I did soften. I did breathe. That dialogue in my head that, it's the most inelegant thing that I do, getting up after, doing an exercise. I invited beauty into my movement and boom, I was up. So I realized that this story, and my son kept saying to me, it's in your head. There's no, yes, your core is weak. I get it, but you can still get up. It's in your head. You're just using it as an excuse. This shifted it. It was amazing. It is amazing what it does. Inviting beauty into your movements. Your point about dancing, absolutely. Absolutely. My youngest grandson does this consciously. Even if as he's eating, we've got these videos of this kid eating from a very young age. He invites beauty into his movements. It's so elegant the way his fingers move. And the other day, he likes his baby chino, and he likes, instead of chips, here we get something called, which are dehydrated vegetable chips, right? So these are just vegetables that have been dehydrated. So they're very, very crunchy. He loves that. Invites beauty into his movements, have cappuccino in one hand, and like having these beans on the other. Just the way he does it, it's quite exquisite to watch him. So it's all movements. Don't just do it when you're going dancing. Experience doing it all the time. It's amazing. It's exquisite what it makes possible. This is your magnetic presence. That is what it makes possible. This is your magnetic presence. And what opens up as a result of this is powerful stuff. Serendipity opens up. Flow opens up. Joy opens up. It's like all of these, there's a lightness of being that happens. Breath, water, all of that starts to flow quite, effortlessly throughout your body. And the impact that it has is even a disruption becomes a dance. Usually a disruption is a curveball. But here, when you're in this space, In this hallmark of harmony, embodied grace, even disruption becomes a dance. Okay, when a disruption occurs, sure, it is leading you, but you're in a dance, and your turn to lead is going to come very soon. You allow your body to be with the disruption until you are ready to step forward and deal with it. It is amazing. Amazing. I can see why grace is also a portal, and I'm looking forward to working with that next. This phrase mindfulness really amuses me a lot, actually. When a mind is all about spatial awareness so that you survive, why am I going to fill myself up with only spatial awareness of survival? I want the fullness of my presence. This stuff, these portals I'm talking about, are not about mindfulness. They are placing the mind as one of the pieces of our existence. You're not filling yourself up with mind at all. You're acknowledging it. You're feeling the fullness of you. Why is it important? Harshness repels, grace magnetizes. We know this. And now it's time for us to step forward with grace and become that magnetic being that we are. What practice can you do? You could even just take it up once a week, a weekly movement practice until it becomes second nature. Dance, stretch, walk, and experience the beauty of your movements. Anchor them, acknowledge them, create a treasure trove of what it feels like. There is a cost to ignoring this. You develop rigidity. Rigidity shows up in the form of arthritis, joint pains, as well as rigid patterns, resistance, pushback, lot of unnecessary use of your vital life force energy. The biggest gift that you experience with embodied grace is you become art in motion. And we see this, we see this happening when we have the most amazing dancers in front of us. It doesn't have to be only dance. Every movement is an embodiment of your expression. Integrate grace in it. Sunny, I'm going to go on to the 11th and the 12th.
Okay.
Okay. There's so much to be said about each of these all months. The 11th one is resonant boundaries. Very, very important. Once I got into my spiritual awakening, boundaries was like, I don't want to be bounded by anything. Resonant boundaries, let's look into that. What is it? This is about protecting your field without closing your heart. So you remain resonant with your soul's calling. You remain resonant with the fullness of your presence. Your heart is open, and nothing that interferes with your highest good can ever enter your field. How can you activate this? By setting boundaries from love, not fear. And you communicating that to people. It could be even communicating about how you wish to be spoken to or not spoken to, but come at it from love, not fear. Fear, remember, is false expectations appearing real. When you set boundaries coming from fear, you're setting boundaries coming from false expectations appearing real. If I don't do this, then this person is going to do that, and it is going to have this impact. That's not what I mean. I mean, I own my sovereignty. I know what it feels like when my heart is open, and I'm going to set certain boundaries because I choose to, not because of anything else. What it makes possible is self-respect, safety, and self-honor. You feel that sense of inner security. And when you feel that, what it opens up is a deep trust in yourself. And that trust frequency also unlocks the trust that you have of others. When you forward acknowledge someone with trust, more than likely they are going to actually live up to your trust. When you come from a state of fear in setting your boundaries and stuff like that, you're coming from a space of distrust. And that is what shows up with people. The impact that this has when you work in this way is you have clarity in all interactions, how far you will go and how far you won't. Why is it important? Blurred boundaries breed confusion. And is there a practice that you can use? Just do like a boundary audit or a weekly boundary review from time to time. You know, where did I abandon myself is the question you're asking when you're doing this review. Where did I abandon myself? This is a power question, by the way. You know, I was shocked at the answers I got to this one. And I went systematically addressed every little situation where I had abandoned myself. The cost of ignoring this is resentment, exhaustion, energy leaks. And the biggest gift that you give yourself with this is sovereignty, softness, and a very calm presence. We are already beyond time, but I'm going to complete the 12th one because we are meant to go into the next portal next time. The 12th one is unified will. This is a powerful hallmark of harmony. Unified will. What is it? It is the alignment of your personal, conscious will with divine intention. How do you activate this? You know, a simple statement like, let my will be in harmony with the highest good. Just that instruction to yourself. One sentence, less than 10 seconds. And, you know, initially, look, each of these hallmarks are so rich. You can just take one and work with this for 1 week. Every morning, let my will be in harmony with my highest good. And then allow the rest of the day to unfold. What it makes possible, you do feel a sense of inner peace. Certainty, unstoppable clarity emerges. Even though, you know, uncertainty is certain and unknown is the known and take nothing for granted, you start gliding through life. And that what opens up is that purposeful action. And you feel within you that you are backed by the divine. And the impact of this is manifestation accelerates beyond anything that you could have planned or worked for. Opposition just dissolves away. Your own vibrational frequency rises and continues to rise. Why is it important? It is important because misalignment is what breeds sabotage. We become self-saboteurs, or we open ourselves up to other people sabotaging us. A simple practice is a recommitment, you know, like re-recruiting yourself to what am I truly devoted to? Just a recommitment to that. It's a simple statement, takes less than 5 seconds even, 10 seconds or 30 seconds if you are to engage with it. There is a huge cost of ignoring it, which is inner conflict. And you lose momentum. And if you do this unified will, the biggest gift you get is fulfillment beyond your imagination. Age of brilliance, completely shining its brilliance to us. Harmony is not found, it is remembered. It is not something that you chase, it is something you become. As you walk through this portal of harmony, allow each of these hallmarks to awaken within you, not as a task, more as a tone that your soul has always known. We are not broken, we are simply out of tune. And now the music of your brilliance is really ready to play. So my invitation is choose one hallmark, just one. Live it. Let it vibrate through your being. Let it tune that instrument of your life. As you come alive, tomorrow you can choose another. And you can join the chorus until every part of you is in resonance, until the world hears your true note and remembers its own. With that, I complete our session on the hallmarks of harmony. Over to you, Sunny.
Harmony is not found, it is remembered, guys. I think that is going to be our mantra for the next week. I absolutely love that. I have furiously been taking notes this time more than ever, I think. And what am I truly devoted to? That is also a question I'm going to be digging and excavating and feeling into. I feel like we play, we do, we whatever, over devoted, we do these things, but what am I truly devoted to? What's under the under? As Dr. Seuss might say, what is my truthiest truth? Or truthier truth, and getting to my truthiest truth. And that is what I'd like to leave you all with tonight and this morning and this afternoon. And again, thank you so much for joining us on these beautiful once a week gatherings that Manu is so beautifully generous in creating this prayer bowl, this picnic blanket for us to all gather on wherever we are in the world. And we will be here next week and we will be carrying on with the next bit. And we've completed one this evening, which is wonderful. And a new beginning will happen next time we gather. And so until then, much love, and again, a tone my soul has always known. I have so many expressions that I'm going to be playing with. So thank you, Manu, for gathering us as you do and bringing us all together so we can bring our beautiful energy and receiving all of this and learning many things that we are now remembering, because of course we know all of this. It's just getting rid of the cobwebs and the calcification and allowing all of this wisdom and beauty and knowledge and really cool stuff to come to us. So namaste to us all, and much love. And this is Sunny signing off from Surprise, Arizona.
Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Thank you.